Good morning, Liz Cross. She is incognito and she will be on all of our sessions because she works with law enforcement and, we want to protect her identity basically. But she also is a fascinating woman who, for one, does remote viewing. She also does healing. Well, Liz, I'll let you take the mic. Tell us about you. And then I've got some questions from the community about concerning remote viewing, but also I will have you first start talking about it after you talk about yourself.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for having me. I just feel so honored to be here with your audience. They're so nice whenever they reach out. They really are such nice people. Yes, so I am a multi-generational psychic medium. My mom was a psychic medium. My grandmother was a psychic medium, and on and on and on, and my great-grandmother. And but along the line, somewhere in there, over all the years I've been doing this, I was contacted by detectives and law enforcement. And I thought, okay, I'm giving them good information, but I need to really pinpoint the information that I'm giving to them. So, for instance, what led me to remote viewing was a detective said, I need to know what happened to the body between this time and that time. And I was like, okay, this is a big problem. At that time, the person had just been murdered. And what happens is for at least an hour, if not 2 hours, they're traveling to the spirit world. So you cannot locate them during that time. They can't connect with really what happened, because at that point their consciousness was traveling in the tunnel back into the spirit world. And I needed to find out exactly what happened immediately after he was murdered.
Yeah.
So I was like, Spirit, what am I going to do? And then next thing you know, remote viewing came my way. Within about a week or two, I had my 45-minute interview to prove I was a psychic medium for this particular person that trained me. And then we started training. And then within a week or two after that, I could tell them exactly what happened to that body between this time and that time. Wow. So that is how I got into the world of remote viewing. And it really, really is an awesome tool.
Yeah, tell me how else you use it. How can
oh gosh,
you and others?
Well, anybody can learn remote viewing. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to be psychic. You don't have to be a medium. You don't have to be an intuitive. You can learn remote viewing. There's thousands and thousands of people out there. We do have a remote viewing community on Facebook. It's a really awesome community. And how remote viewing started was during the Cold War with Russia.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which it feels like we're entering back into that, but but what happened was the U.S. government got wind that the Russia had a spy team, a psychic spy team, military department that were using psychics to spy on all of their information. So with that in mind, they got with a couple of physicists, one being Harold Puthoff, and they got with a really prominent psychic at the time who was Ingo Swann. And together, yes. And together at the Stanford Institute of Research, or Stanford University, they created Stanford. Yeah. They created what is now known as remote viewing. Once the program was created, they then took 5 to 7, I can't remember the exact number, military personnel that displayed psychic medium abilities. And then they established their own remote viewing unit in the military. The CIA was working along with it, and that military unit was in operation for over 20 years.
Wow. So it's no longer.
No, unfortunately, as far as we know.
Maybe it's just underground. Yeah.
As far as we know, it is no longer. However, the guys and girls that were in it are now, they do teach remote viewing. There's Lynn Buchanan. There's, Joe McMonigal, who is remote viewer 001. He does occasional teaching. There's Paul Smith. And, bearing that in mind, there's also Angela Ford, she's a great psychic medium and remote viewer. So these are the people that were in remote viewing, the unit.
I don't trust the government. I bet they have people in the IRS sneaking a peek at my receipts. That's happening. Yeah. I'm all above board. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. But they were locating spies. They were locating missing military personnel, missing airplanes, things like that. But then the government didn't want to fund the unit anymore. They didn't believe there was any reason to, and then they shut it down. But you can use remote viewing for lots of different things. I use it all the time on all my videos, and you can see my videos at Psychic Liz Cross on YouTube.
Right. Awesome.
Thank you. I do a lot of mind probes. I do a lot of financial predictions. You can use it to make financial decisions. You can use it to find out more about yourself. There's teams of remote viewers that focus on what the news is going to be 3 days out. There's teams of remote viewers that actually do separate targets, and then they write musical compositions, classical music compositions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so you can pretty much project your consciousness through time and space to a certain location at a specific time to see, for example, what this stock is going to be at on, in 2 weeks or whatever. But of course, there's free will, so things can change. So how does that wrinkle work into the whole remote viewing thing?
So that's a great question. Most of the targets are rather benign targets. You don't really have people doing spy work that I know of right now. So what they do is, they'll do targets of mountains or landscapes, or you can do targets of people as well, just in the general remote viewing community. However, I do very pinpointed approach remote viewing. And you're exactly right when you talk about time and space, because when you're just consulting spirit, for a lot of people like to use it for financial information, especially in the crypto world. So, you'll have psychics out there that are making predictions about certain coins, but it's not pinpointed information, right? Because they're asking spirit. Now, over the years I've been doing this, there are spiritual laws that say we are not allowed to have information for financial gain. So, I tend to find that information coming through, unless you know absolutely where the source is coming from, I don't know if that should be trusted. I mean, I know this is going to spark a lot of controversy, but to me, I just know that there are spiritual laws that say, no, that's off limits. However,
why if spirit says that abundance is infinite and scarcity is an illusion, why do they have that law? Is it because you're interfering with the human experience?
Yes, exactly. So our life paths are designed before we get down here. We already know.
That's true.
There's a certain amount of energy. That money is energy. There's a certain amount of money flowing around. It's energy, and it's it is given to some and not enough for others, because it creates a different magnitude of experiences, like the human experience, just as you said.
Yeah, but we've all had to experience poverty in one life or another, or probably several, for example.
Yeah, really. I think I've always been poor in all my lifetime. Well, it's funny because even when I do past life readings, it's only recently that we've all had to live with money. right?
Yeah,
Most
yeah,
of our past lives have nothing to do with money
yeah.
at
I
all.
know. It's barter and things like that, or just live off the land.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We hunt and we farm, and that was it. We claimed our piece of land. We had territorial wars, of
yeah,
course. That was a problem. But this concept of living with money is relatively new, and the
true.
soul oftentimes is not used to having to deal with money, right? They're here on a mission, and that is to fulfill all the experiences and life lessons that it can. And, if that means that you have to be poor or struggle to experience those life lessons, the soul will stick to that. So
That's
if you're,
yeah.
yeah, if you're consulting spirit saying, I need to know the winning lottery numbers, spirit's going to say, no, I can't give you that. That's against source law.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're either going to get wrong information most of the time, or you're just not going to get information. Plus you're usually too emotionally involved in your own life to pull that information
Oh
in.
yeah, of course, yeah.
So with remote viewing, you actually circumvent those laws of source, because you're not asking source or spirit for that information. You're using, or I use, a target here located on the planet to pull that information.
What
And
target? Is that a secret?
no. I use, so anything that holds energy holds a consciousness.
Oh
It
yeah.
doesn't have to be in a body. And so I'll use like the stock exchange. I'll
Okay.
use Coin Market Cap, Coin Gecko. I'll use like Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't have a soul, right? People
Yeah,
may think that it does, but it doesn't.
yeah. It has
And
some sort of consciousness.
right. And so I'll use that and pull the information from that through remote viewing techniques, instead of asking spirit. So, people that are looking for financial information based upon spirits, oftentimes that's wrong, or there's no time limit on it, right? It's going to be, Bitcoin's going to go to $500,000, but we have no idea when, right?
Oh yeah, right.
Right?
Dang.
It could be 5 lifetimes from now.
Oh, that's not helpful at all. So what if you don't really have a target, but you want to find a target? Like I lost my keys. Can you use remote viewing for that?
Yeah, so the keys would be your target. Oh yeah, that's a
Oh,
popular
okay.
one. Keys, phones, jewelry,
Jewelry's a big
animals.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Will.
animals. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Um,
Yeah.
well, you would, so if you're doing the long form remote view, say you're looking for your missing cat or dog, or say a
Yeah.
ring. Let's say a ring, because that's a
Okay.
popular one. I've lost my wedding ring, or I've lost my
Oh,
engagement ring. You would then use your engagement ring or the piece that whatever you're looking for as your target. And what you would do is you would go through the remote viewing protocols, which are, you would do an ideogram, which is a little squiggle, and then you start getting perceptions from that ideogram, right?
what's
So
an ideogram again?
it's like a little squiggle on a piece of paper,
Okay.
and it'll give you information about the target. So it'll give you information whether it's near water, is it on land, is it man-made, is it natural, does it hold energy, all that stuff, like does it hold energy. And as you're going through from the ideogram onwards through the several stages of remote viewing, you'll start really pulling perceptions of where the target is. And then eventually, if you're really good, and I'm not good at sketching, if you're really good, you'll start sketching out where this object is.
Okay.
So
I'm looking at ideograms. It's interesting. Yeah. Just also they're just symbols basically.
yeah, they're just little squiggles. Some people have created their own ideogram libraries, but
Oh, wow.
I haven't. The thing is, I have modified remote viewing. It usually does take about 30 to 45 minutes to complete a session.
Oh,
I've modified that. I use a different style of remote viewing. It's a very advanced technique. And I actually just go straight to the target. I bypass the ideogram. I don't need to know if they're red, they're blue, they're this, they're that.
Is that because you're psychic?
Yes, probably so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is because I am a psychic medium.
Yeah, sure.
I just bypass all, but it doesn't mean that should prevent anybody from learning remote viewing.
Okay, so how does the regular Jane Doe learn? Online courses, or do you have to have a mentor? Do you teach remote viewing classes?
I wish I was that organized to teach remote viewing. I'm just not, that my brain doesn't work that way, but there is a person that I highly recommend. And I work with him on a regular basis. His name is Ronan. And you can contact him. His classes are dirt cheap, by the way. And he teaches you he teaches you in a group, but he's a live instructor, which is what you need. And you do practice targets and you have homework. He's really hard on you. I'll be honest. He's going to make sure you learn it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he's a really great person. And you can
sounds like it.
Yeah, he is. He really is. And you can contact him at info@realityforecast.com.
info@realityforecast.com. Wow, that's so cool. So name some other things that we can use where we can use remote viewing as a tool.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's unlimited. Really, to be honest with you, it's unlimited. If on my YouTube channel, I've been following Putin since last December. And I was actually, I do mind probes, which is a style of, I use remote viewing to do that.
Yeah, right.
I was calling Putin's moves before he made them.
Wow.
That's because I was dipping into his, that's what the military unit was doing. A lot of times with Saddam Hussein, they wanted to know where he was going, where he was sending his military. So I've been doing that. I've been following Putin. A lot of it is financial because of course everybody wants to make money and everybody's looking at financial forecasts and a lot of it's crypto, a lot of it's stock market stuff. But I mind probe a lot of people. So for instance, when King Charles III, now I'm gonna miss King Charles III.
When you mind probe my mind, can you please clear away the cobwebs while you're there? Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead, King Charles.
No. It's funny because sometimes when you're mind probing people, it's like, hold on a minute. Like Elon Musk, he's one I mind probe all the time because everybody wants to know what Elon Musk is thinking.
Yeah.
And his brain is wired up so differently than the average person.
Of course. All right, sorry I interrupted you, but
no, it's fine. It's fine.
King Charles, you were saying, or Charles the
Third? Yes, King Charles III. I was actually mind probing him when he was at his mother's funeral, where it was at his service, and I picked up. I didn't stay in there for very long, but I just picked up on all the sadness and the fact that he wasn't really interested in becoming king. I mean, he will do it for the sense of duty, of course.
Yeah.
But he realized at that moment that, he's lost his identity. He's no longer his own personal self. He is now a public figure. I mean, he was always a public figure, but now he can't have an opinion. He can't, push his, he was doing a lot of stuff, pro-environment stuff. He can't do that. And I was picking up on that, the fact that he is no longer allowed to do that. And he had a lot of grief, obviously, for his mother and his father and an error. But also he lost himself right at that moment.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. So can you use it to mind probe a potential employee? That'd be good. Or a potential employer.
Yeah, I do that all the time for people.
Ooh. Or what about a potential love relationship?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's a player. Forget it.
I get that all the time, honey, all the time. They all want to know about the person they're dating or they're talking to online.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that all the time. A lot of times is the person I'm about to go into business with going to screw me over? Or
Yeah.
I'm going for a job interview at this company, because I don't actually have to just stick with a person. I
Yeah.
can mind probe an entity. So say applying for a job with Channeling Erik, right?
Mhm.
Channeling Erik is an entity. So I would group Channeling Erik as an entity and start asking questions of what you wanted out of me so I could ace the interview.
Oh, that is so cool. So, so can you go in the past? I guess you can, um, like probe, oh, my sister's mind when she convinced my dad to give her all his money, and
Yeah.
find out if it was really because she wanted to honor the will, or did she coerce, things like that, right? That'd be so
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, absolutely. I've had to do that before, when many times, and that is a really distressing subject. I get people that come through for readings where
Yeah.
mom and dad cut me out of the will and I don't know why. Right. And oftentimes I'll have to go in and probe, and I'll do a mixture at that point. So I'll channel the loved one in spirit, and I'll also probe the sibling or
Oh,
whoever got
yeah.
the money. And
Yeah.
we paint a picture of what happened. Well, actually, what happened was mom was unwell. She was very, very ill. The sister said, "Hey, we need to revamp your will with a
Uh-oh.
lawyer friend that we know. Here you go. Here's the paper. Sign on the dotted line." Mom signs it away, and she has no idea what she's signing because she's ill, right? That
Yeah.
happens a lot. And we
Yeah.
have to find the answers. Now, legally, can you use that information? No, but that may
Yeah.
point the finger in the right direction of where to look. But
I mean,
since that,
really,
Mhm.
if people could prove that it was that these are factual, imagine the implications in the justice system, probing a mind of somebody to see if they're innocent or guilty, for example.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's so funny?
Mhm.
So there's a particular person that puts out a lot of crypto predictions, and I actually use her as a remote viewing target to see whether these predictions are any good, just
Mhm.
because, and I'll tell you why. Liz, that's terrible. But I had so many readings where people were coming through to me and they were listening to this information, and they were second mortgaging their home to put
Oh,
invest. Right. They shouldn't do that. I know.
oh,
But they were investing on these predictions alone. And we needed to know whether these predictions were going to come into
yeah,
fruition, or
yeah.
have these people lost their money. So I did this whole video of where I used this person as a remote viewing target. Well, she got wind of that. and I was thinking to myself, well, she couldn't take me to court anyway, but I was thinking to myself, if could you imagine if one psychic took another psychic to court, what would the judge do? The judge
Oh
would
my
probably
God. Oh my God. I would want to be in the, I'd want to be in the audience for that one. That'd be cool.
the judge would probably say, "I can see clearly now."
Yeah. On a clear day.